On this episode of AVNation TV's Connected Everything IoT, we have another special show. I'll be speaking with Michael Sinclair of Audio Incorporated, talking about Infocomm's Emerging Trends Day and our role as Emerging Technology Fellows. We'll preview what we're going to present there and what we're also going to be presenting at Sapphire Marketing's Roadshow in May. And then I've got some interesting things that we saw at PepCom's latest Digital Focus, some new IoT trends and devices. So stay with us. Thanks very much.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is Connected, episode 13, Choose Right.
This is Connected.
Greetings and welcome to this episode of AVNation TV's Connected Everything IoT. My name is David Danto. I'm your host, and we've got an interesting show for you this week. We've got Michael Sinclair joining us from Audio Incorporated, and he and I are going to chat about Infocomm's Emerging Trends Day. We're two of the 9 people that were appointed as Emerging Technology Fellows this year. We're also going to be giving a preview of that presentation in New York City at Sapphire Marketing's Roadshow on May 3rd, and we'll be talking about what the topics will be around our presentations. And then I've got some folks from PepCom's digital experience that just happened. We'll be showing you some new products and interesting things that have come in on the space. So now, let me introduce to you my friend, Michael Sinclair from Audio Incorporated. Mike, why don't you give us a minute or two about who you are and your background, as if anybody doesn't know you.
Hey, Dave. Thanks very much for the intro. I own a company with my partner called Audio Incorporated, and what we do here is we do sound system design, installation, and rental. On the design side of things, we tend to do more in the way of design assist for various consultants and integrators, more especially in the DSP programming part of that. We are experts in dealing with DSP programming of conference rooms and large performance spaces. On the installation side, of course, we do our own fair share of schools and churches and little design build jobs of our own. And on the rental side, we have some large sound systems that we rent out for your standard music shows, with jazz festivals and Lincoln Center and people like that have been our constant clients for some time now. So we cover, I guess, really the full gamut of professional audio services from our point of view. So.
Thank you. So what Infocom is doing this year, and I've talked about this before, is the day before Infocom, the Tuesday, used to be called Super Tuesday. It's June 13th this year. We're having a full day seminar on emerging trends. And starting at 9 o'clock, 9 of us that have been designated as Emerging Technology Fellows because of our expertise in very specific areas will be giving very brief presentations, typically about 30 minutes each. And of that 30 minutes, there'll be some Q&A and some getting on and off the platform. So it's really going to be 15, 20 minutes of this is what's happened in the industry in the last year. So if you want to sit in for the entire day and go through all 9 of us, at the end of that day, you're going to be more well-informed than almost anybody in the collaboration and AV space. And if you're only interested in audio, come and sit for Mike's. And if you're only interested in unified communications and huddle rooms, come and sit for mine. When we're not presenting, we're going to be across the hall in a lounge, and you can have one-on-one conversations with us and get more into depth on things. So I did want to ask you, Mike, since we're going to be doing that in June, and we're going to be previewing that, you, myself, Joel Silver, who's doing displays, and I think one other person hasn't been confirmed yet, will be at Sapphire Marketing's Roadshow May 3rd in New York City. And if you're interested in joining us there, you just go to sapphiremarketing.com and they have all the invitations online. But what are the topics that are the hottest in audio? I mean, we all generally know what's going on in technology, but that's why we separated it this way, because we're all experts in just narrow areas. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is this whole idea about, beamforming microarrays. I went to McDonald's the other day to pick up a soda, and they have a beamforming microarray that they've designed. My grandmother's designed a beamforming microarray. It seems like they're all over the place. And I used to say when I worked in theater that their microphones are not miracles. So You can put one in a room and maybe it'll work and maybe it won't, but they can't be as good. At least I don't think they can be as good as all the hype is. What's your take on the whole situation?
Well, it's an old technology, and I remember some years back doing the Super Tuesday events. And one of the pictures that I put up on the screen was a large line array speaker system, because line arrays were the big thing, line arrays were the new thing. Everybody wanted to see the line array speaker system, and I put up a picture of a big JBL Vertex system at a rock and roll show, and I said, this is a line array. If you're doing a conference room the size of the venue that this is in, then it might be appropriate. It's kind of interesting to me that everybody tries to take technology that's designed for one thing and apply it to something else. As far as line array microphones are concerned, it's kind of the inverse of what a line array speaker is, essentially. There are a couple of ways it works. Not many people understand. There are, two basic kinds of arrays, beamforming microphones. One that automatically forms its own beam as the conference goes on, and another one that has fixed beams that you can adjust when you set the system up to cover where people are likely to be. There's a big difference between them. But these microphones have been around for a while. Way back, it's got to be nearly 20 years ago. I saw an AKG microphone that was a beamforming mic that was designed to go in the rear view mirror of the high-end Mercedes-Benz cars. The idea was that for conferencing, it would follow the person around the car, so it would direct the microphone beam towards the person where they're talking is sitting in the car, and it was used to reduce noise and whatever. And it was always curious to me back then. Actually, it was at the time we were doing a certain basement in New York, if you remember, Dave.
Burned in my brain.
Yeah, we were talking about, maybe it would be great to have one of these, to put a Mercedes mirror on the lectern, because it would follow somebody as they move their head around. It's taken all of this time to last year at Infocomm. You were running around trying to find who's got the next beamforming microphone, who's got the next line array mic. And what I'm hoping to do here is to maybe give people a guide as to the ones that they shouldn't miss that I know are going to be there, the difference between different kinds of beamforming microphones, and how they should keep their eyes and ears open, because this stuff's been there for a long time.
Well, I went to a client recently. I would probably say about toward the end of last year, and they had Shure Puck microphones on the table, very standard conference room type installation, that they had disconnected because their integrator had come in and put in this probably about 12, 14-inch dotted white speckled thing in the ceiling, and they said that was their new microphone, and it looked cool, and it had a couple of lights on it that lit up, and we got into a conference call, and I couldn't hear a damn thing that was going on in the room. I mean, literally nothing. I heard some air conditioner noise, but
Right.
So you get the situation in our industry, unfortunately, I think, where great technology is developed or attempted and installed in many cases by people who don't understand its nuances. And that could go across the DSP world, the microphone world. I know I've shown you the picture. I've shown a lot of people in the industry the picture of the person who put the Audio Technica microphone in, glued it to the wall, pointing straight up underneath a video system. It's like, a scalpel's a great tool, but not in the hands of a monkey. So are they bad microphones? Are they bad installs, or some combination of both?
Well, I can tell you from the music side of things, if you've got an instrument that's properly tuned and is playing correctly and sounds good, and you choose the correct microphone to put on it, when it comes to mixing, you dial the high pass filter in until you've gotten rid of all of the low end that you don't need. And you don't need to go much further than that, because the instrument sounds like the instrument, because you've chosen the microphone correctly to match the thing that it's supposed to listen to. So why choose something and then equalize the thing to death and try to play with it and squash it and expand it and and EQ it? Just choose the right microphone. And because line array or beamforming microphones are the latest technology, doesn't necessarily mean that it works properly for your space.
And hopefully, what you're going to be presenting at Infocomm and giving us a teaser of at Sapphire Marketing's Roadshow is going to be a bit of a guide as to how to figure that piece out.
Right, right, right. I mean, don't be pushed into doing things is really the way that I look at it. I mean, it may be that the client, in some respects, has been to Infocomm. They've seen these things. They think these will be awfully great, and they want to put them in the ceiling. I mean, the first design of beamforming panels that I saw was for a microphone that was designed to be a single mic, really, in a room with multiple beams. This was in a larger room, and there was 12 of them. What makes you think that because one sounds good, that 12 are going to sound better?
11. They go to 11, not 12.
You know, it's absurd. More microphones generally do not sound better. It's just the way it is. But then again, if people didn't do things like that, we wouldn't be as busy as we are.
Fixing. We're busy fixing. All right, let's go through quickly. Let's talk on a couple of the other topics that I know you're going to be hitting on in June and in May. You had mentioned to me before that the wireless audio spectrum is getting squeezed some more.
We're getting
What's the latest with that?
more and more and more, and the technologies are changing, and the design from companies like Shure and Sennheiser. I mean, they are just working so hard to try and get into the space that's available, the channel count that customers are looking for. When I see jobs come up that have 200 and 300 wireless microphones in them in 25 rooms on 2 floors in a building, it makes you wonder, how are you going to do it? What were they thinking? And of course, it's normally with a smile on their face that they say, well, you're good, you'll make it work. Well, it's becoming more difficult to do that, and it's a race to the bottom, actually. I mean, the more we manage to achieve it, the tighter they're going to make it for us.
Yeah, and I've seen some problems. I'm very lucky in that I get to attend a lot of Broadway shows in New York
Right.
as part of my involvement in the industry. You know, there are a couple of, the Great Comet of 1812 had, without exaggeration, upwards of 30 or 40 microphones, and the cast moves around the whole house. So you start to hear a couple of mic drops. Again, I attended another show, Groundhog Day, which is in preview. It's opening tonight, actually.
You went to Groundhog Day, I heard.
Went to Groundhog Day, yes. And I went to Groundhog Day too.
Day that you went
Exactly. That's a Facebook joke, guys. But I heard a mic cut out for the first time in years, live on the stage for one of the.
It's not always dropouts as well. It's intermodulation distortion, where certain proximity of some transmitters to each other, when you get this guy over here and that guy over there, and this guy walks through between them, there's a null point just on their frequency. That's a design consideration, and in the type of shows that you're talking about, they're using some pretty slick microphone packages, some pretty expensive microphone packages that have been well designed to not do that. We have customers who are not looking to spend that $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a channel on a microphone that they want to put on a dining room table. They're
And they
looking.
need it wireless because they won't drill a hole in the table, of course.
Oh, of course. Or we can't hang microphones over their heads because there's a light fixture that the architect has deemed.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could say I love the architects because they do so many beautiful things and it's a hard job, but boy, they do make the technology guys' life a lot harder. I was telling you a story before when I was working for a financial services company that the mixed cafeteria slash presentation space had a metal ceiling with curved waves in it, and we needed to put lights in certain places, and we were told we couldn't because, and this is a quote from the architect, it would upset the wave. So, I'm sure you run into
Well,
this
I
as
got
much
to
as
tell
I
you
do.
that has just matured into one of the craziest things that I've heard more than once in the past year, and that's an architect telling me that they have designated tech zones, a zone in the ceiling where we can put our technology, but we can't put it anywhere else. And you said, well, hang on. I mean, if I can't point a light from here to the person sitting at the table, how does the tech zone become useful to me?
Well, the tech zones would be fine as long as we were creating tables that sat right under them, and that's where the people were. But yeah,
Well,
it's
but
the
when you walk into a space and you find that because of this tech zone thing, people have ceiling microphones hanging from the center of speakers, then you know that you got yourself a problem to resolve.
yep.
And it's like, well, okay, let's do the job. Let's say goodbye to the architect, and then let's get on with what we got to do.
And you and I
Which,
worked together for the first time nearly 20 years ago on a
yeah,
job that had the microphones aimed right at the speaker arrays. I
that's
remember that.
yep.
I'll never forget that. Interesting stuff. And then one last thing I know that we had mentioned before as well that in the video space, which I cover primarily, the world of DSPs and MCUs has gone away. We're all using very high power processors so that everything's being done in the software as opposed to DSP based systems that were prevalent years ago, and that's happening now in audio as well. I think that's what you would explain
Yeah,
to me.
absolutely. What it does is it allows these massive I/O counts to happen. It's all about how you can matrix that many inputs to that many outputs. And the only way to do it is to do it in core function because there are so many pathways into the one core, so you can make bigger matrices. In DSPs, you're limited by the number of inputs and outputs that you can go to. And of course, every time you go in or out of it, you're adding propagation delay in. Now, on the audio side of things, we live and die by propagation delay on these things. The faster the tool is, certainly in the music world, in the rock and roll world, we live and die by propagation delay. It better be really, really fast. Otherwise, people will notice if they're in the audience and they're watching somebody's lips move and they don't hear it for a space of time afterwards. It's really bizarre. Um,
Makes for a fun New Year's Eve, though. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, please. They were friends of mine, and they were unfairly beat on the. No, I mean when you're adding DSP processing and time into the wireless microphone, and you're adding time into the DSP processing. You're adding time at the codec. You're adding time now for all of the video processing for the touch screens and the ability to move this image over there and that image over here and put multiple images on the big screens all at the same time all adds time. And if you've got a TV station coming in and you've got a conference coming in and you've got a local playback or something, they all have different propagation times. And in the video world, they don't appear to me to pay as much attention to getting that as short as possible, but more than that, getting them all the same, getting some consistency. So we find ourselves looking at the screen and really kind of guessing what the best delay time is to put into the audio so that it doesn't look so bad for the TV station they're playing back, but doesn't look so bad for the conference that you're on or the other edition. So that is still the skill of listening. It's, you can't predict it until you see it, and you just sit there and you adjust it until it feels good. That's really one of them.
And that's the advantage of having an expert like yourself on a project. And I'm going to say this again because I want to reinforce it. If you come to the Sapphire Marketing Roadshow May 3rd, Mike will be joining Joel Silver and myself and probably one other person on the panel previewing this. And we'll certainly present these ideas to you and what our thoughts are, but it's more than just hearing our thoughts. It's the idea that we're going to be available to you. And, I cherish the time that I get to speak with my friend Mike here because he has so much expertise in areas that I'm not as strong in, that I learn so much every time. And at Infocomm, that's really what it's going to be. You're going to have, Erwin Lazarin, Brent Kelly, and Tim Banting, and Hope Roth, and myself, and Mike, and I'm leaving people out, but you can look at the names on the list, where you're going to have the opportunity not just to hear what they're telling you is the hottest and most important thing, but then you'll be able to have conversations with them and really understand and leave that session understanding what's going on in the space in a way that was never really possible before. So
I think it's going to be really important because I know that for myself last year, in the 3 days of show floor opening, I didn't manage to get to all of the audio stuff that I wanted to see because you're trying to get detail on this. I'm hoping, from my point of view, that seeing the other presenters there are going to help me understand maybe a little more about all the bits that I had absolutely no time to go see.
Exactly. That's what it's there for. And what we're going to be doing at that event at Infocomm is after each one of the emerging technology fellows presents, and at the end of the entire day, each time we're going to be giving you references. If you'd like to go more in depth about what we've talked about here are the manufacturers you can visit. Here are the sessions that are being given during the week that go into this stuff in detail, and we'll be giving that reference. So again, it's going to be a great, stand on one foot and hear all the knowledge of the world in one day, and then it'll hopefully lead you to have a better Infocomm experience. So please catch us in New York if you're in New York on May 3rd, sapphiremarketing.com. That's Sapphire with 2 P's, one word, sapphiremarketing.com. And you can join Marla and Laney and all the people up there for what will be, I know, a great day. And register for Infocomm. It's Emerging Trends Day on June 13th. We will be there, and hopefully if we get a chance to chat with you and see you there. So Mike, thank you very much for joining me for this piece.
Thank you. It was fun. Thanks, Dave.
And then the next part of this now is about a week ago, I was at the PepCom digital experience, and I saw some new technologies, and let's take a look at what those things look like. Today I'm at PepCom's Digital Focus, dedicated to Paris. This is one of the private press and analyst-only shows where exhibitors show the technology that's coming up and some new toys, and hopefully we'll get to see some things we're all interested in. So.
Hi, I'm Irina and I'm with Tap2. Tap2 is a smart button. It is this one. And it works with a fingerprint sensor. So it helps me to turn my hand into a human remote control because I can assign different functions to different parts of my hand because it will always recognize which part I'm tapping it, and not only my fingertips are unique but also the fingerprint of these lower parts. And now I'm using the app to set it up. So first of all, I would have to train the sensor and scan my finger from different angles. Then I would choose one app per finger. For example, this is my music finger, this is my smart home finger, this is my smart TV finger. And then I can use the button and tap with different parts and different actions will be triggered. So for example, this is my play button. Here I can skip to the next song. Here I can control the volume, and so on. This is how Tap2 works.
Where do you keep the Tap2 when you're doing that?
Oh, you can keep it as a single button if you use it for smart home, or you can glue it somewhere, for example in your car. Or you could use it with a clip it to your belt or your clothes. And we also got this wristband, so it's easy click mechanism. You can just click it inside, and then, for example, when doing sports or driving the car, you can use it like this.
Is it available yet?
Yes, it's available on Kickstarter. We have an early bird price there, and we will start shipping in September. And after that, we will have our own online shop for Tap2.
Hi everyone, my name is Felicity Wong and I'm the PR officer from MateBlock. It was really an honor here to actually introduce you to some of our latest products. So here that you are having a look at our latest Neuron project. We just launched our Kickstarter campaign on March. In March, and actually this is electronic building. We have over 30 different electronic building blocks which you can combine and mix and match to create your own gadgets. So for example, that you can see we have the power modules here, and we can also connect it with the ultrasonic modules, and also you can connect it with the LED strips. So once you sense it, so once the ultrasonic sensor detects, it will actually light up. So this is a pretty cool and simple example just to show you some of the features that we have. This is the offline mode though. Wait till I tell you the online mode. We have the flow-based programming, so it's a very, very easy to use softwares. And if I may show you on our iPads, so right here, you'll be able to see that very straightly from here. So basically you can connect the neuron blocks using the Bluetooth modules. So right here, where you can connect them together. And after that, you pair it up, and then it will actually display what are some of the modules connected on the application. And then after that, you can adjust the numbers and values. And for this specific example that I'm showing here, it's actually showing the emojicon faces. So for example, when the values becomes 50 or larger, it will show you the smiley face. And if it's like 50 or less, it will show you a heart shape. So this is only one simple example that I've given.
Where are they typically used?
For STEM education and also just for fun. I mean, kids, they always get time with their parents, and then sometimes they want to create creative projects. For example, you have a piggy bank, and you want to protect your piggy banks. How? We can use Neuron, and then pair up the gadgets together, pair up the blocks together to create your own gadgets. And then once an enemy detects and then come closer to your piggy bank, it will spill water to them. And by the way, you can also turn it into a water planting little machine. So that in case, like during everyday life, it's a water planting machine. But once the enemy come closer to a piggy bank, it will spill water to them, 360 degrees. So,
Available in the US yet?
yes, it's available on Kickstarter. You can order it on Kickstarter page, and we have different kits. For example, Light Wizard or all-in-one kits. So it depends on your own preferences and what you like to create. So just be creative with. Yes, it's on Kickstarter already. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tom Criswell. I'm from Plantronics, and I'm here to introduce you to the Plantronics Backbeat 500. It's a new offering from us. Our portfolio is actually really beginning to grow, so watch out. This is a $79.99 product. It's got up to 18 hours of listen time. Sounds great. It's got optional 3.5 interface as well. It also has a dedicated button specifically for your use with Siri, Google Now, Cortana, etc. So pick one up. You're going to love it. Read about it too. Rave reviews.
Roughly how much and where is it available?
$79.99, and it's available right now on Amazon in particular, and we've got multiple retailers that are actively pursuing us for it. So stand by for that as well.
And I just learned because even not being black, I was just still a game
So what we have here is Pixie, which is a location tracker. And what makes this different than other location trackers is that it actually uses augmented reality to find your missing item. So we have a screen right here. It'll start you off with your items that you have pixified, as we like to call all the tagged items. So you have keys in your wallet. So let's say you lost your keys. The next screen will take you to a panoramic scan. So you'll literally spin in a circle scanning the room to pick up where the lost item is. So after that, it'll switch off to another type of segment, and it'll point you into the direction of your missing item. As soon as it's found it, you press the Show Me item down there, and that'll take you right to the augmented reality section of the finding process. So right there, you see what we call pixie dust. So you'll run right over to the pixie dust, and then it switches over to like a cool little game of hot and cold with a metal detector. Not actually metal, but detecting where your pixified item is. As soon as you get closer to it, it'll beep a lot more and it'll go right to the green.
So you have to attach these devices to.
Yeah. So what you would do is you could attach them to, let's say, your wallet or pocketbook, or your keys, or even your notebook or a pet. They are available on getpixie.com, and they go for 2 for $49.99 and 4 for $99.99.
Is there a cost for the app?
Oh, the app is free.
So that was what happened at PepCom's Digital Experience. I love those shows because you get to have one-on-one, even if they're small, like this one was a little on the smaller side, less vendors. You get to have one-on-one with experts showing their products. It's interesting that most of the products that I ran into here from the IoT space that I was interested in were all available on Kickstarter. So there's a lot of startups going in, a lot of new technologies, and we're all doing our best to try and stay aware of it. That's it for this episode of Connected Everything IoT. I will see you at our next episode, which, if we keep our fingers crossed, will be more on the subject of emerging trends and emerging technology. We might have something special for you. Thanks very much for watching. For AVNation TV and the IMCCA, I'm David Danto. See you next time.